Guys, this is Prashant Rao, and today I thought we'll talk about oil, given that it's everyone's favorite topic. Um, I personally made a ton of money during this crash, and I've talked about oil before and how you could have known about this much earlier. In fact, many years ago. So I thought we'll go back into those charts and revisit to see how you could have potentially made money off of this, having this information uh, and knowing what was happening earlier. I hope that some of you as well took advantage of this opportunity and made a lot of money. I know some people who got into ETFs and uh, got burned. The ETFs don't necessarily always work the way you expect. So that's another example of why you don't want to just look at the news and trade, or you definitely do want to do your analysis before you place a trade and know which instruments you're dealing with. So let's dive into the charts. So in this chart, we're looking at monthly prices of oil. It's a monthly chart, and you can see this began all the way here. So this is in 2008 where we saw a massive key reversal on a monthly, and then it headed all the way down. And then we saw a bounce, and with each top here, we see reversal bars. So these are key reversals on a monthly level. Again, we saw another reversal bar here, so another one here, and final one over here. Along with that, if you notice, there is a continuation pattern, and usually when this happens, the previous price action continues. So in this case, the previous one was a massive decline, and that continued from here after this consolidation phase. And once it crossed this area, there was no stopping this from collapsing. And then it bounced back. If you look at the recent times, again we had a double top and a key reversal, and then cross the neckline, and off we go. There's another bounce here, key reversal, and another double top, each time with reversal bars. What these are called key reversals on a monthly level. And once it crossed the neckline, I guess you know what happened next. The price of oil went down from this price here, $50, all the way to minus 40. I personally didn't think that you could see negative prices. I mean, I just didn't know that that could happen. But that's also a reason, I guess, the learning from that is a reason why you really need to rethink your risks when you're playing, with futures especially. So that's on the monthly level. So I know you guys might be thinking, okay, how does that help me? This is like a massive monthly chart, and futures is heavily leveraged. I mean, what could I possibly get out of it? So let's look at a daily chart. Um, so the important reason why you want to look at a monthly chart is simply because it gives you an overall perspective on what is happening. So once you've done that, then we just clear up these things. So then what you could do is drill down into what's happening in smaller time frames. So let's look at the weekly. And here you can see the more recent double top is it's much more prominent. Right, so let me just move this. The minus 40 is really throwing it off. So yeah, here's where it's much more prominent. Right, double top, neckline, and boom. Double top, neckline, boom. So Knowing this, you could have very well started off all the way here and then um, taken profits. I mean, in theory, until it was negative 40. I mean, I know that doesn't happen in practice, but just looking at the patterns, at least you knew that you need to enter here. Getting out is always tricky, so we'll save that for another day, but at least you knew that you had to get in here. So that's that. And now let's look at a daily chart. Again, let me move this out because it's throwing the chart off. So there's a reason why I never trade on news, and this is a perfect example of why you should never do that. A day before the news came out that the Saudis and Russians were going to cut production by 10.5 million barrels or 11 million barrels, whatever that was, there was a massive key reversal, this bar here. And sure enough, the next day, even though they announced the cuts, you never really saw a jump in the price. I was expecting a jump here, but this reversal bar here on the previous day pretty much told you where the market was headed. And that's the reason why you should generally never look at the news and trade. Instead, always look at the price action, because price tells you everything. And then sure enough, it collapsed. And I mean, I personally made a huge sum of money and I was watching the action more closely than I usually would. I normally never look at anything below a daily chart, but given the extreme circumstances, I think there were opportunities intraday to make some interesting trades. So again, just knowing some of these patterns really help you, and they go a long way and help you understand why you're placing the trade and what's your potential risk reward opportunity. So I think this is a good lesson to learn from, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.